And we want to reactivate within you a determination that you are going to get hold of the vibrational relationship between you and you. When somebody says to you, balance your energy, that's got to be what they're talking about. Because you are extensions of source energy. You are eternal extensions of source energy. You can never get loose of the source energy that is you. You can never cease being you. And the source energy that is you loves you and loves others. The source energy that is you knows your value, knows your worthiness, knows your possibilities, knows all of the wonderful things that are over here in vibrational escrow waiting for you. And that source energy will always be a vibrational match to the things that you want and will never join you in your depression. That's why depression feels like depression. Do you know that the feeling of depression or the feeling of anger, the feeling of any negative emotion is you holding a vibrational pattern that is disallowing your full connection with who you are? And so negative emotion is your indication that you are not allowing that full connection. We never see you stick a happy face sticker over your gas gauge because it is troubling to you to see that it's empty. Oh, I'm empty. I better cover that up. It bothers me to see that. You sort of want to know when your tank's empty, don't you? And if you wait till it really empties out, it's a lot harder than if you just catch it as it approaches empty and then do something about it. And this is what your emotional guidance system is doing for you too. It's letting you know you're sort of emptying out on this thought. You might want to proceed to the highlighted route and see if you can't find a better feeling place about this. And when you start guiding yourself by caring about how you feel, you start guiding yourself back into the stream of source energy. And when you come back into the stream of source energy, that's where your clarity is. That's where your joy is. That's where your resiliency is. That's where your flexibility is. That's where your balance is. That's where the good ideas come from. That's where all the good stuff is accessed from. You cannot get to the good stuff from the place of feeling bad. It defies law. And you cannot get to bad stuff from the place of feeling good. It defies law. But you've got to decide first, and we want you to do it here today if you want to. We want you to decide that it is good to feel good. It is so screwy. How did you ever get crossways of that? Let's see now. Struggle is good. Pain is good. And we say, in what world? Oh, they promised you that it would be good after you die. Well, they lied. It will be good after you die, but not because you've paid the price of struggle. It's just good when you die, because when you die, you quantum leap into pure positive energy. When you die, you stop beating the drum of all of those things that have been keeping you from full connection. But friends, as long as you're here in these physical bodies, quantum leaps, rare as they are, never last. It's not the route you're wanting to go. You're not wanting to try to find bliss from despair. Just work your way up the emotional scale. Here's this emotional scale. On one end of it feels really good. On the other end of it feels really bad. On the really good feeling end, there is your perception of freedom. On the really bad feeling end, there is your perception of not freedom. And we carefully ask Esther to find the word perception because it is perceptual. You are free. You are so free you can choose bondage. You are so free that no one can do anything to you. You are so free that you are the only one that is causing anything to happen in your experience. You say, but wait, that person did such and such to me. And we say, but it was your observation of it and the subsequent contradiction in vibration that caused the vibrational meltdown within you that disallowed the well-being that would have been there if you hadn't been observing it. And you say, well, I wouldn't have been observing it if they weren't doing it. And we say, yes, but now you're getting into that realm where you have to control the conditions. Now you're saying, if I observe that, I feel bad, and if I observe that, I feel bad. So I need to find some way of controlling things so that everything that I observe will be good. And we say, give it up. You don't get to decide what other people put in their pie. Nobody can put anything in your pie unless you observe what they're putting in their pie. And when you observe what they're putting in their pie, now you're a vibrational match to what they're putting in their pie, and now you're putting it in your pie. And now you're blaming them because you've got it in your pie. But you put it in your pie. No, I didn't. You say, I didn't put it in my pie. They put it in my pie. They put it in their pie first, and then some of it got in my pie. And we say none of it could have gotten in your pie if you hadn't had your nose in their pie. If you hadn't been paying attention to somebody else's pie, you wouldn't have their stuff in your pie. You only get in your pie what you are giving your attention to. And you say, well, it's hard not to notice what other people are putting in their pie. And we say, we know it can be hard, but maybe you could start making your own pie and getting interested in that. Well, my pie isn't as interesting as their pie. Their pie's on CNN. Their pie is on the front page of the newspaper. Their pie is on my soap opera and on all the television programs. The stuff that they're putting in their pie seems to be everywhere. And because it's everywhere, it keeps getting in my pie. Only because you're giving attention to it. Nothing can get in your pie that you're not giving your attention to. Well, how can I not give my attention to the things that are everywhere? And we say, find something that feels good to you and give your attention to that. Well, it's hard, you say. It's hard to focus. And we say, but that's what a creator does. A creator focuses. A creator decides what you want in your pie and put it in your pie. Well, how do I know for sure what I want in my pie? Make some pies and eat them and see how they are. We call that post-manifestational pie eating. We call that waiting until it is manifested in order to figure out what the vibrational content of it was. It works. Or you could pay attention to the way you feel while you're putting the stuff in your pie. Because if it feels good while you're putting it in there, it's going to taste good when it's done. But if it doesn't feel so good when you're putting it in there, have you ever made a pie and known that you put the wrong ingredients in it? And you just hoped that it would turn out good anyway? Maybe no one will notice. But when you mix your pie with ingredients that don't feel good while you're mixing it, it doesn't turn out good. In other words, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey ever. So you want to start getting on your happy track. And we want to say to you that that happy track, that joyful track, that using your guidance system to move in the direction of your bliss, it might feel only as good as anger. But if you've come from depression, that anger is sweet, isn't it? In other words, there's nothing like the life-giving breath of fresh air that revenge will give you. From the feeling of powerlessness, revenge feels oh so good. And hopefully, before you act on that feeling of revenge, you will make your way into the sweeter feeling of rage. And hopefully, before you act on that, you will make your way into the sweeter feeling of anger. And then into the sweeter still feeling of frustration and overwhelmment, into the sweeter still feeling of pessimism, into hopefulness, into optimism, into believing, into knowing. But take your steps incrementally and feel proud of every incremental step. Do you know that the key is doing it on purpose? What you're going to begin to discover is that there is joy all along the way because your vibrational discernment, the relief factor is so big as you leave the resistance of despair and that disempowerment behind and find anger. The relief factor is so tremendous that you will think from your vibrational relationship position that you have found joy. Did you hear that? We really want you to hear. Have you ever... Here's the best way of hearing this. Let's say that you have gone to visit another country that has very few of the conveniences that your world holds. And when you get there, you find all of these people living without all of these things that you want in your life, but that they have not wanted in their life because they have not come to the vibrational place of asking them and letting them in. So as you observe them in their lack of all of the things that you've come to enjoy in your comfortable life, you say, how do they stand it? But when you look at them, you notice they seem happy. Well, how can they be happy without the things that you need to be happy? Because their vibrational relationship is different. The distance between their desires and where they stand is different than your desires and where you stand. So when you go over there and you superimpose your desires over where they stand, you can make them pretty miserable if you keep at it. as you convince them that their religion is inferior and inappropriate, or that their lifestyle is inferior and inappropriate. You can stir them up a little bit. And what we're wanting you to understand from this analogy is that when you move a little bit on the emotional scale, the reward that you personally feel in the improved vibration and the release of resistance is extraordinary every time you make any jump. You don't have to jump all the way to joy to be living from your perspective the equivalent of that what feels like joy. In other words, it's going to be good all along the way. We want you to make a decision here today that you're going to make peace with where you are. We want you to understand that as long as you are feeling dissatisfaction and poking at where you are as if there's something inappropriate about it or about you for being there, you cannot move up the emotional scale. You cannot make the worst of something and cause it to improve. You cannot point out what's wrong with something and move towards something that's right with something. You've got to start making peace with where you are. And in the moment that you begin to make peace with where you are, you will begin moving up the emotional scale. When you are all right with where you are, your vibrational escrow and you begin coming together. We want to show you how you can improve your vibrational relationship on every subject of desire. There is no subject that is off limits. We are happy and eager to talk with you about anything that you want to talk about. This meeting actually came together before your physical bodies assembled. Because you've been offering your vibration, we are well aware of what's in your vibrational escrow. We see our advantage to you in helping you to improve the vibrational relationship between where you are on any subject and where you want to be. But we'll talk to you about anything that you want to talk about. Where are you wanting to begin? You did bring some things. Begin right here and then right here.